Kadosh Boker Or Bekiim Bahalacha 3, day 14, Siman Vav. This is the sixth Siman, right? Page 25. Harav Yosef Chaim, the old Yosef Chai, Ben Ish Chai, pay attention. Every man and woman is obligated to understand the plain meaning of this exalted blessing. Many explanations have been written, but I request that you, the reader, open your ears to listen to what I'm about to say. But this is the principal intent of this blessing. Much of the following material is based on the teachings of the Sefer HaBerit. We recite the blessing to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for creating us, providing us food and beverages which we sustain our lives, and for giving our bodies the following 5 capabilities. So, Chamisha Devarim. Right? Some people think that there's only one davar, right? Or one dvarim. Yesh chamisha dvarim po shekatuv. Number 1, ingesting. God gave us the ability to eat and drink, providing our bodies with the nourishment necessary for survival. So we ingest. I don't know how you say it in English. So that guf. Containing. It contains it. So right? It keeps it there. Hashem gave our bodies the ability to store the food we eat in our stomachs for as long as it takes for it to be digested. Because, chas v'shalom, if a person didn't have storage, Pashut would just go in and out. So we'll just say, oops, right? In and out. Right? Sometimes it happens to certain people. Digestion. What is digestion? He comes and he says, it digests the food. Hashem gave our bodies the ability to produce enzymes and acids to safely break down the food that we eat into its components. This process is more powerful than fire. This means that the chemical reactions between the enzymes and the food are more complicated than chemical changes of a substance that set aflame. זה מסובך, אנשים חושבים, big deal, אכלת אותה וזהו. No. You know what it is? That it goes in and all of a sudden it has to attack it, to take it apart, take the good stuff, the nourishment, no. Selection. זה עושה בורר. מה הכוונה בורר? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the bodies the ability to separate the nourishing elements from the food we eat and to distribute them to each part of the body that's needed. Our body set aside the extraneous matter, right, that contains nourishment and put it through an alimentary canal, right? He says until it's excreted. So mamash, the borer, it takes the good from the bad, and the bad, is going to throw it away. Right? That's what we try to do. We throw away the bad. Right? Excretion. Good, but too much. 100%. He says excretion. He says it's only that which was necessary. So he says excretion. God gave our bodies the ability to excrete. What does that mean? Excrement. Where does it come from? Excretion. That is taking out. You're taking out of something. So it says first from the duodenum to the colon, and then out of the body altogether. The extraneous matter left over from what we eat, right? He says our bodies likewise expel dead cells and cell parts from every body part. Much of this is carried with mucus up through the throat and the nose and the mouth. So those are the mucuses, meaning those are the excess of all those things that come out. That's what's coming out. Other dead and poisonous matter is expelled as pus through sores, right, on the body's surface. Anything that cannot be expelled is at least isolated and sealed, so it causes the body no harm. May Hashem be blessed for exercising so much wisdom in the creation of man. If someone will only contemplate all the complicated processes going on through these various body parts at all times, he will think of the functions in the stomach, the spleen, the gallbladder, the kidneys, the bladder, the intestines. He will never cease to be amazed at the symphony, right, that is in the human body. It's not that, they're saying Kaddish, half people are in the front, half people in the back. They're saying one speed, another speed. Well, a person will start 5 minutes later. No. Mamash, everything is, like that. So he says in particular, we must wonder at the manner in which we eat and drink and how our body succeeds in extracting the nourishment and distributing it to all the body parts while expelling the extraneous material in a way that does not harm it. We must praise and bless Hashem for his wisdom in healing all living beings and for his wondrous acts. The act of excreting waste products is the final stage in the string of events that begin with the act of ingesting, storing food in the bodies, digesting, selecting, right? Again, there's the nourishment for the elements and expelling. So those are the 5 different things. At this point, it certainly behooves us to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for creating the man with such incredible wisdom. We recognize that he created in many orifices, the mouth, to ingest the food and the beverages, and passages one internal organ to another. For example, the gallbladder has 2 openings. Actually, the gallbladder has 1 cystic duct into which the bile is delivered through the hepatic duct from the liver, and from which the bile is then sent through the common bile duct to the duodenum. In Hebrew, through one it receives the bile from the liver, and through the other delivers the bile to the duodenum. So he says, likewise, the stomach has an opening to the esophagus, through which the food descends from the mouth. זאת אומרת, זה נכנס לתוך הפה, כן? זה עובר דרך הקנה וושת, וזה יורד למטה, כן? So he says, right? The esophagus, right? The vegetable, he says, begins just behind the tongue and it ends as it connects to the stomach. Waste material is excreted through the anus at the end of the large intestine, and again through the urinary tract. Furthermore, 2 ears and 2 nostrils are orifices on the body's surface. This is the meaning of the term nikavim, numerous holes, right? In the text. What are all the holes? We just said the holes of the anus, the holes which is going to be of the nose, of the ears, right? Of the mouth, going into the stomach. All these are all holes. These are all nikavim. The term chalulim, numerous hollows, refers to internal organs such as the stomach, intestines that are hollow, and they permit the passage of the food and beverages and the entire process of digestion. The blessing continued with the declaration: if any of these would permanently be shut, right, or permanently open, it would be impossible to survive even for a short time. Hashem programmed all our organs to operate exactly as they are needed. When one's body is healthy, each orifice is open or shut at the appropriate times. If the opening of one's stomach would shut at the wrong time, for example, one cannot survive. Right? Basically, it wouldn't go down in the stomach, and then there would be a big problem. Likewise, if all the orifices would remain open, right, when they're supposed to be shut, it could be fatal. Imagine right now the stomach does not close. So then what happens is it stays open, and all the acids and everything are going to come out. It's a problem. So all these things, the same applies to urinary system. The waste products in the blood are filtered through the kidneys and delivered in the form of urine to the bladder, situated at the bottom of one's abdomen, just above the rectum. In order to enable people to expel the urine only when it is comfortable for them, Hashem provided the bladder with sphincter muscles at its neck. As long as these muscles are contracted, no urine will leak in the urethra. He says at the proper time, the pressure of the urine stored in the bladder tells the brain to open, right? He says the internal involuntary sphincter muscle, allowing the urine to pass through the urethra. So he says when the person relaxes the external voluntary sphincter muscle and onward exit the body. As soon as the person finishes urinating, those muscles contract once more, shutting the bladder's opening and protecting it from infection. Yeah, it's incredible. If the sphincter muscle became weakened, right, that's it. It just lets go. They will no longer be able to contract tightly enough to prevent incontinence, right? And this will result in skin rashes, bladder infections, so that the person will be susceptible for dangerous illnesses and handicaps. If the muscles refuse to relax, to allow the person to urinate, again, then he can't urinate. Imagine, he wants to go to the washroom and he just can't because he can't relax the muscle. The fact that Hashem made our bodies function as they do, enabling us to urinate at the proper time, rate, and frequency, demonstrate his incredible wisdom and kindness. He says this is only one example of the miracles that are abound in the functioning human body. We close the blessing with the words, who heals all living beings. The ability to relieve oneself of the body's waste products is a crucial element of our health. If we cannot defecate in a timely manner, that means the waste products from the food we eat would poison our bodies and perhaps to a fatal degree. So therefore, the ability to defecate in a timely fashion preserves our health. Furthermore, he demonstrates wonders through this. Although the peristalsis, okay, no, it's not parasites. It's peristalsis. Peristalsis. It pushes the food and waste products through. No, a parasite is something which is like that attacks something else. This is something that pushes the food and waste products through the alimentary canal. זה כמו משהו שדוחף את האוכל and everything. So he says in the alimentary canal, the canal where it's going through the body until it gets to the stomach. Yeah, he says over here is a series of the muscle contractions. No, before I think. It works only as needed. Peristalsis does not push our undigested food through the intestines and colon until the body has digested it and removed its nutrients. This is like opening the end of a balloon. There is no way to stop all the air from escaping, especially if someone pushes the air out at the same time. A human being is no more than a balloon, right? When someone expels his waste, right, by defecating, yeah? Yeah? When someone expels his waste by defecating, and especially if he exerts himself to push it out, this does not at all cause him to push his undigested food into his colon through his anus. Meaning like this. It's going through, and it's being pushed. Now, if there's a balloon and you're pushing, so even without pushing, the second you open up the balloon, what happens? Boom, everything comes out. But here you're pushing it through. Here, no matter what's happening, the food will not, even if a person is going to the washroom and he just ate, so the food is going down and it's being pushed down. It's not going to go straight through without first being digested, taking all the nutrients, and then going out. It does in that way. This demonstrates that Hashem heals all living beings by enabling people to defecate, and at the same time performs wonders by keeping the food there in the stomach or duodenum. He says this sums up the meaning of the beracha, as explained why we're obligated to recite it when we do urine, or now we understand why we do a dafka when we're actually going to the washroom. Yeah, everyone should study. That's why he gave the book for it. Yeah, there's a book, 30 days. Yeah, everyone should study this treatise 2 or 3 times until it doesn't become part of everyday knowledge. He should then teach it to his wife and children. This is the plain meaning of the bracha, right? And we and our offspring are expected to know it. He says there are also hidden meanings in the bracha also, but they are for God to know. So we have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for all our organs. The Tur comes and he commented that the Hebrew words chalulim chalulim and the numerical value have 248, right? 248. Shezeh b'diuk, the human male body, right? As this is in the first chapter of Aholot. Rabbi Elmaleh actually explained that there's no other blessing to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for all of our body parts. They are all included in the words of the blessing of Asher Yatzar.